I got a new mic. The past 5 or 6 videos on my YouTube channel had my condenser mic directly plugged into my camera. And it turns out all of the audio is blown out. So I had to decrease the audio, do some post-edit on the audio. It was a whole mess, and that's all done now. I actually got a whole new mic. It is designed to work with DSLR cameras, and I did some testing. In my opinion, it sounds pretty great. I'm just trying to streamline the recording process, make it easier to hit the record button for myself, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to talk about a questionable decision that I had a little bit over a year ago. See, I've been working at the current job that I work at for about a year and 2 months, give or take. And whenever I first got the job, I did what most people do during interviews and claimed that I could handle whatever workload they threw at me because I wanted the job. And I didn't realize that the company that I worked for took that pretty literally. And I ended up starting there originally at about 30 hours a week, which wasn't that big of a deal. But I was also doing full-time college. I was doing 15 credit hours, which is the equivalent of 5 classes, and I actually managed it pretty okay at first. The problem was, very quickly after I was trained up, I was moved over to 40 hours a week. And it was 4 days in a row of work, and then 2 of those off days I spent dedicated to being at school, which left 1 day to do all of the homework I would need to do and spend any time resting. And it was a pretty rough balance at first, and I realized that something had to give. Now, whenever I got this job, I had a little bit of management experience beforehand, about 3 months worth of it, but that wasn't really enough to me. So I really wanted to make this job work, and I'm currently still there, so obviously something's working. And I decided the best course of action was to drop 2 of my classes. Now, I didn't lose out on any money in the process, thankfully, but what you lose is opportunity cost. So me dropping 2 of those classes meant that I had to graduate later, which meant that I didn't get my degree as quickly, which means I wasn't able to get the benefits of having a degree as early. And that was a choice that I decided to make in order to have the trade-off of work experience and also earning income, which can never really hurt. But then I made a more questionable decision about a year later. See, in September of 2019, I had started that job, and I made the decision about July of 2020 to take a gap semester. And for those of you who may not know what that means that I took a break in between college semesters and I'm not currently going to college. See, I finished out my associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree for those of you not in the United States. And after I finished that, I decided that the best way for me to get promoted was to have a fully available schedule. And I was right. And I managed to get the promotion from a shift manager to assistant general manager at the cost of having to take a semester off of college in order to accommodate the higher workload, which in hindsight, in my opinion, was a great decision because I work 50-hour weeks right now, and even on my lighter weeks, it's still in the mid 40-hour range. There's no way I could have done college at the same time. It gives me the opportunity to be able to save up more money to be able to pay for my next round of college, because I do plan on getting my bachelor's degree, which for those of you unaware is a 4-year degree, or what most people associate as a full college degree, because an associate's degree is kind of like a light college degree. So I took a gap semester. I also, admittedly, ended up failing one of my classes because of the workload of the company that I work for. So you could say that overall, I missed out on 8 classes worth of college in order to be able to do my job. Now, thankfully, there is some upside to what sounds like a terrible decision. See, the career path that I go for is management. It's what I actually want to do to earn my basic income. And in light of that, getting the work experience is invaluable, because just having a degree in business or management doesn't necessarily guarantee you a higher position of the company. However, having experience tied with that degree gives you a much higher likelihood of getting a very well-paying job once you have that degree. And I decided to take that risk, to get that promotion, to get 1 step closer to where I want to be eventually. And I think that long-term it will pay off. But there is some downside. Me finishing my degree later means that I don't gain the benefits of that degree until later. See, people who go to college starting at 18, get their degree by age 22 or 23, have a 4-year degree that will benefit them for, theoretically, the rest of their lives, as long as they get a degree in a path they actually care about. For me, I'm 22 years old, and I will probably not have my bachelor's degree until I'm near 25, which means that I am losing 3 years, potentially, of having that benefit of having the degree, the trade-off being having work experience. Now, there's so many different camps of whether or not college is even worth it, depending on what career path they're deciding to go for. But for my career path, it's actually pretty important. Management is a very competitive industry to be successful in, and having a degree gives you an edge against other applicants. Not to mention, you actually do learn pretty valuable skills throughout management courses, so there is that. Not to mention, it also increases your likelihood of getting paid higher and to be able to get better promotions later on in the future, because some companies actually block prospective people from even coming into their establishment without having a certain level of education. So the real question is it worth taking a gap semester or to drop classes for a job? My honest answer is it completely depends. See, everybody's career path is different, and not every single career path requires the same level of education or a similar timetable. For me, it made sense because management and business in general has so many different avenues where you can be successful. You don't have to follow the standard path, whereas if you want to be in the medical industry, you have to have degrees and certification to be able to get into there. Taking a gap semester lengthens the time it takes for you to actually get into the industry you want to get into. It wouldn't make sense for you to do that. So it really is a case-by-case basis of whether or not it's worth taking that gap semester, and you'll have to evaluate that yourself depending on the job you want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the new audio quality. I'm hoping it sounds a whole lot better. I'm sorry for the rambly video. I've been under a lot of pressure at work lately, ironically, because of the choices that I made in order to take that gap semester. Regardless, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and do not forget to keep it casual.